You know that saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions? Yeah, well in Mortal Kombat, it's also paved with dead Shaolin monks, burnt out temples, and one really frustrated thunder god who finally decided that playing nice was for chumps. We're talking about Raiden. Specifically, we're talking about why he went from being the wise protector of Earthrealm to a red-eyed menace who shows up to peace talks with a severed head in a duffel bag. And the thing nobody wants to admit, Dark Raiden wasn't the villain. He was what happens when you spend 2 games watching all your friends die because you kept asking permission from management. This is the story of a god who was too good, too polite, and too by the book, and how that almost destroyed everything he loved. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's rewind to Mortal Kombat 9, the reboot. Raiden gets visions from his future self, and they are cryptic messages. He must win. It was mysterious and prophetic. You'd think a literal god of thunder with knowledge of the future would have a pretty good win rate, right? Wrong. Normal Raiden, let's call him Polite Raiden, is possibly the worst strategist in the entire franchise. And I can prove it. He receives a message from himself that says, he must win. So what does he do? He assumes it means Shao Kahn must win. You know, the skull-faced warlord actively trying to merge Earthrealm into Outworld and turn everyone into slaves. And when things start going sideways, when his warriors start dying, when Liu Kang, his champion, starts questioning his decisions, Raiden says the magic words, I must consult with the Elder Gods, the most useless deities in any fictional universe. These guys are basically cosmic HR. They sit in their glowing realm, they watch invasions happen, they see the rules getting broken, and they do nothing until the paperwork is filed in triplicate. Shao Kahn literally merges the realms, breaks the ancient rules, and the Elder Gods are like, well, technically we can't intervene until he's fully committed the violation. Bro, people are dying, but Raiden, he keeps going back to them. Like a guy calling IT support while his computer is literally on fire. Yes, hello, Elder Gods? My realm is being invaded, can you… Oh. And while he's on hold with cosmic customer service, his friends are getting slaughtered. Kung Lao? Dead. Killed by Shao Kahn while Raiden watches. Kitana? Dead. Killed by Sindel in one of the most brutal cutscenes in the franchise. Liu Kang? Accidentally killed by Raiden himself because Liu Kang finally got fed up with the consult the Elder Gods routine and tried to actually do something. Let me repeat that. Raiden killed his own champion because Liu Kang was tired of waiting for permission. That's the ultimate failure. That's what being too passive gets you. A pile of corpses and a guilty conscience. But we're not done yet. Fast forward to Mortal Kombat 10. Raiden's been carrying the guilt of Mortal Kombat 9 for years. He's trying to protect Earthrealm, but he's still playing by the rules. Still being diplomatic. And then Shinnok shows up. Shinnok, who is a fallen Elder God, master of the Netherrealm, and owner of the most punchable face in the franchise, decides he's going to corrupt the Jinsei. The Jinsei is basically Earthrealm's life force. It's the core and heart of the realm. If Shinnok corrupts it, Earthrealm becomes a nightmare hellscape. Everyone dies, and everything's over. So what does Raiden do? He doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't consult anyone. He doesn't wait for the Elder Gods to send him a memo. He walks into the Jinsei chamber and absorbs Shinnok's corruption himself. He takes the literal essence of evil and pulls it into his own body to save the realm. That's not a power grab. That's a sacrifice. But here's the thing about absorbing demonic corruption. It doesn't just give you a stomachache. It changes you. The Jinsei was tainted with Shinnok's hatred, his rage, his contempt for mortals. And when Raiden took it in, all that patience, all that let's try diplomacy first energy was gone. What was left was a god who'd spent decades watching his friends die because he played nice. A god who'd been burned by mercy. A god who finally realized that the only way to protect Earthrealm was to make his enemies terrified to even think about invading. And that's how Dark Raiden was born. But before he starts chopping heads off, we need to talk about that transformation scene. Mortal Kombat 10 ends with one of the coldest character moments in the franchise. Raiden walks out of the Jinsei chamber. His eyes are glowing red. His lightning was red. And his whole vibe was different. He's got this slow, deliberate walk. No more frantic teleporting. And he looks calm, terrifyingly calm. And then he picks up Shinnok's severed head, which, by the way, is still alive and talking because this is Mortal Kombat, and death is more of a suggestion than a rule. Dark Raiden holds up the head and delivers one of the hardest lines in the series. There are fates worse than death. Then he opens a portal to the Netherrealm and walks through to pay Liu Kang and Kitana a visit. You know, his former friends who are now revenants serving the Netherrealm. He walks in, drops Shinnok's head on the floor like he's delivering a pizza, and says, This is what happens to those who threaten Earthrealm. It's the kind of flex that makes you go, oh, we're doing this now. And honestly, it's kind of beautiful. Because for once, Raiden isn't reacting. He's in control. The enemies of Earthrealm used to see Raiden as a threat they could manage, a diplomatic obstacle, and a god bound by rules. But now they see a god who decapitates his enemies and uses their heads as warning labels. And here's the kicker. In Mortal Kombat 11, we meet Kronika, the Titan of Time, the big bad who's been pulling strings across the entire timeline. And what's her plan? Erase Dark Raiden. Not because he's evil, but because he's winning. Think about it. Kronika wants to reset the timeline and create a perfect universe. But in every timeline where Raiden is too nice and too by the book, Earthrealm loses. Shao Kahn wins. Shinnok wins. The bad guys win. But in the timeline where Raiden finally stops playing defense and starts throwing hands, the bad guys are scared. Dark Raiden was so effective that a literal god of time had to intervene and rewrite reality just to stop him. Kronika didn't erase Dark Raiden because he was a monster. She erased him because he was too good at his job. And here's where the tragedy sets in. Because yeah, Dark Raiden was effective, and he finally protected Earthrealm the way it needed to be protected. But he also lost himself. He became the kind of god that mortals fear, the kind of protector that doesn't inspire hope. He inspires obedience. Liu Kang, his former champion, looks at him with hatred in Mortal Kombat 11. Not because Raiden's wrong, but because Raiden stopped being the mentor Liu Kang believed in. And that's the cost. You can't be nice and win. But if you stop being nice, you lose the people who loved you for being nice in the first place. It's a no-win scenario. And speaking of wins, a sub to this channel would be the red lightning the Elder Gods didn't predict. So here's the truth about Raiden. Normal Raiden, polite Raiden, was a failure. Not because he was weak or because he didn't care, but because he cared too much about doing things the right way. He played by the rules in a universe where the rules are designed to let the villains win until the very last second. He asked permission from gods who don't give a damn until it's almost too late. He tried to be a hero in a world that punishes heroes for hesitating, and his friends paid the price. Dark Raiden isn't a corruption arc, it's a realization arc. It's the moment when a god finally understands that protecting the people you love sometimes means becoming the monster that your enemies fear. The Jinsei didn't turn him evil. It just removed his ability to lie to himself. And yeah, he went too far. Yeah, he became cold, ruthless, terrifying. But he also won. For the first time in the entire timeline, Earthrealm wasn't on the back foot. It wasn't barely surviving. It was dominant. And that terrified the cosmic powers so much that they had to literally rewrite time to stop him. So was Dark Raiden a villain? No. He was a hero who finally stopped apologizing for doing what needed to be done. And that's way scarier than any demon, any warlord, or any elder god could ever be. Don't forget to drop a like. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into characters who got done dirty by their own morals, you know what to do. I'm Joe, and I just explained why the good guys lose when they play fair sometimes. See you in the next one.